Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the 2015 football season wrap-up. I am joined by head coach Mike Lynn and the senior captains Joey DeCoze, Chris Renacio, and Connor Bassett, minus Steve Collins. So first, we're going to jump right into it. Coach, we'll go to you first. So what were your expectations coming into the beginning of practice? It's been to Gillette Stadium 2 times in a row, and so far as a program, you guys are used to high expectations. What was your thought for this season?
Yeah, we definitely had high expectations this year. I could feel it in the weight room during the summer. I knew the kids. We're very, optimistic about our chances this year. And, we came into the year and we were off to a great start, obviously, and there was a lot of positive energy in camp, and another great season for us.
All right, players, now we're going to go to you. First game versus West Boylston was a very tough battle, and West Boylston has been a strong opponent for the last few years. How did the game set the tone for the rest of the regular season?
I think we showed early that we were going to hold our opponents to a few points on defense, and I think that game kind of set the tone against a physical offense, and West Boylston only held them to 6 points, so kind of set the tone for us defensively.
Anything else?
It was more that game we started to get a feel for our offense and our defense, and like Chris said, that's really when we started to know that our defense was pretty solid.
Connor?
Yeah, it was a good test for our offense that game. Our defense was definitely the stronger part of our team at that point, but our offense came through and showed.
Now, going back to the defense, Coach, it seemed like the defense got off to a faster start at the beginning of the year. Was that expected, and did you guys as a coaching staff realize how good the defense was?
I think we knew that we had more returning on defense than we did on offense. We had some things we had to figure out on offense. Defense, I think there was much less pieces to fit together and figure out. And if you look at our defense before the injury to Nick Fontanella, I think that Coach Ferrante would agree with me. I know he would. I think it was the best 5. We play a 3-5-3. In the 5 linebackers we had, I think it was the best crew that we've probably ever had from left, 5 across. Our 2 outside linebackers were juniors, been playing that outside linebacker position. Eric Rocker and Tristan Lee have been playing that since they were freshmen. They were starters in those positions last year. And then, Stevie Collins, what an amazing career he's had. He's not unable to be here tonight, but he's just, he's been, in my eyes, the leader of the defense for this season and a major part of it in past seasons. And Nick Fontanella stepped in where Clarkey was last year at Mike linebacker. He was amazing there until his unfortunate injury. And, Joey fit the other piece. We only had really one thing to figure out, and that was Joey fit into that other stacked backer position. And D-line, we were shuttling a lot of kids. Secondary was very solid, but that 5-person linebacking crew basically ranked like 1 through 5 in our tackles, and they were outstanding. And Coach Ferrante, this was his year that he knew he'd probably have the best defense we've had. At our banquet, he said it was the best defense that he's had in his 10 years, and I would agree with him. And, again, does a great job getting those kids fired up to play and play to their best ability.
Players, can you follow up on that? And what were the keys to having such a great defensive play?
We knew from the beginning that we were going to have good defense. Like Coach said, a lot of us were returning. We didn't graduate too many last year from the defense. And throughout the week, we worked on a lot of defense, and we were very smart. So we knew lots of play calls and stuff, and we knew, based on watching film and all the coaches watching lots of film, we could make adjustments real quickly to what the offense was doing, which gave us the opportunity to make lots of tackles and stop them.
You guys want to follow up on that? Or?
Yeah, we have a lot of returning defenders. We have a lot of people who've been starting at positions for 2-3 years now. So for us, it was a lot of guys that were comfortable in their position, had played there before, and there was a lot of experience going around.
Connor? You're all set. Well, you're more of an offensive guy anyways. So, Coach, now going to the other side of the ball, offense. They started rolling as the season went on. And what were the keys to getting them back on track? And what seemed to work best as the season went on?
Yeah, so, offensively, we had a lot of pieces coming back. These 3 guys to my right, we had our 2 top receivers coming back, and Chris and Joey. And obviously had our quarterback returning in Connor, and Connor had an outstanding junior year and only got better as a senior. Same for all these guys. So a lot of pieces were there. Offensive line had a lot to figure out, and the lay person might think, oh, you just plug some kids in there, but it's actually the most technical aspect of the team. And we definitely had a lot to figure out there, and Stevie, unfortunately, was battling an injury all year, so he had limited playing time on offensive line. And so some things to figure out there, and the other thing was the graduation of Elijah Pyram, who in his senior year exceeded every expectation that I would have ever had for him. And we had to figure out a running back, and took us the whole camp, and Sawyer Landforce emerged as the guy I thought would be our primary running back. We tried Chris there, but I feel like Chris's best position is slot receiver, and we can run with him and throw him passes. But we put Sawyer at our tailback position next to Connor, and it was really working out well. And then Sawyer had a really bad injury up in Gardner. So then we had to figure it out again, and Nick Font emerged as the guy who would be the best fit for that. And then he got hurt, and we had to, again, shuffle more people through. So our running game really never, in my eyes, fully got on track this year. We had a pretty prolific passing game, but as far as our run attack, it wasn't to the level it had been in recent years. But certainly as the season went along, you look at how much offense we generated, how many points we put up. Certainly we had a lot of opportunity to put up points because on the other side of the ball, our defense was just the words I keep using, just rock solid. I mean, as a head coach, when we put our defense on the field, I was very confident that we were going to get the ball back again, and we were outstanding. And offense emerged and came along, and we made plays. And so, yeah, it was a great year on both sides of the ball.
Connor, I want you to follow up on that, especially that you ran the offense aside from the coaching staff.
Yeah, it was a good year. Definitely the passing game was much stronger at the beginning of the year than the running game and throughout the year as a whole. But the running game was tough because it seemed like every couple games I'd have a new running back right beside me. But yeah, the passing game really showed throughout the year, and our offense was able to repeat what we did last year.
Now, Chris, you were Connor's pretty much go-to receiver. Can you follow up on his comments as well?
Yeah, I mean, we had a good year. We passed the ball a lot, which for us receivers we liked, but I think it was just kind of became a natural thing for us. Passing the ball was just like running it for other teams. So, we were effective. We put up a lot of points, so we were happy with how it all came together.
And Joey, you got the ball, your fair share too. Can you follow up on that as well?
Like Chris said, us passing the ball is just like other teams running the ball. We have a great connection. We know where each other are going to be. Connor knows our routes and how we run them and how fast we are and stuff, so he can get the ball to us at any point. If he's scrambling out, he knows what we'll do, and he knows he can always count on us to make a play.
Okay, so moving forward a little bit, great game versus Tingsboro. That locked up the league championship for the 4th year in a row. And just talk about, can you elaborate on what it felt like to get that accomplishment and to defeat Tingsboro?
So that game, as I remember, was kind of like a tale of two games, First half, we didn't play well in the first half. We made some mistakes. We had some turnovers. We were just not quite ourselves in that first half, and came out in the second half, and it was like a different ball game. Just put it together. Defense clamped down, and offensively, we found a couple things that were really working for us on that night. That was Nick Fontanella's. He had a big night that night. He had two buck sweep plays that we run for back-to-back touchdowns just about on the 2 drives that really opened up the game. Unfortunately, that was the game he got hurt in. But yeah, that was exciting. And one of our goals was that we would, in the first year in the Midwatch C division, which is a division up where we've been, that we were going to try and win that. And we ran the table, and up in Tingsboro we won it. And we had a little celebration on the field, respectful, and took some pictures, and then we walked off the field. One thing with these guys, a little credit to us, I think, is the last 2 times people have beaten us on our home field, it's turned into this half-hour, 45-minute long celebration on our field. And I don't know, I wouldn't do that. And when we went up at Tingsboro, we did what we needed to do, and we got back on our bus and But yeah, we were pretty proud, I think, of getting on the bus. We were worried about Nick, but you know, it was quite an accomplishment for us.
Players, how did it feel to beat Tingsboro?
It felt great, but even after a big win like that, it's tough when you know one of your players gets hurt. So we were all happy and stuff, but at the same time, it was in the back of our head that one of our top players was down, and we didn't know the severity of his injury.
Yeah, when we found out we were moving up to Mid-Watch C, the first thing the coaches said to us was, we're going to win the league this year. We got to step in our first year and win it. So the second we found out, that's what we circled. The one game we were looking forward to all year was Tingsboro. And it was a tough game in the first half, but we really came through in the second half, showed them how we could play. And in the end, we came out league champs, so that was a big game for us.
Yeah, it was definitely a good game. First half was kind of rough, but we came back in the second half and showed who we were. And definitely losing Nick was tough at the end of the game, even though because we had like 3 minutes left in the game. But yeah, the win lasted for a little bit, and then we knew we had to get back to work for the next week.
Okay. Moving forward just a little bit more, start of the playoffs. Coach, how surprised were you that you drew West Boylston and not Blackstone Valley, as it should have been, pretty much?
Yeah, just wrapping up the Tingsboro piece there, and just kind of like one last nod for Nick. You know, Nick Fontanella was a kid that was just a critical piece of our team. And up in Tingsboro, when he got hurt, we lost our Mike linebacker, and I think him and Stevie were within like 1 or 2 tackles of each other. I mean, they were our main tackle production. And he had become our running back, and he had 2 touchdowns. He was our kicker. He was one of the deep guys on kickoff return. He literally didn't come off the field. So that was an injury that I don't think this team, there was no overcoming that injury, you know. And it definitely put us in a little bit of a funk, and we just had to figure something out. But things unraveled a little bit after that, and I think we put things back together as best we could. But moving into the playoffs, after that Lunenburg game, we had a couple more injuries. One to Chris, he injured his ankle in that Lunenburg game in week 8, and Tristan also hurt his knee in that game. So on top of the Nick injury, the Sawyer Landforce injury, then the Chris injury on week 8, and then Tristan's injury on week 8, it was kind of the perfect storm heading into that West Boylston game, because as far as who were the 4 best teams, it was clear that Blackstone Valley Tech was the 4th best team, but the point system really didn't play out that way. And Blackstone Valley wound up in the 3 seed, and West Boylston wound up in the 4 seed. And it was kind of a perfect storm that, you know, we rolled into that game that we were thinking we were going to draw Blackstone. We drew West Boylston, and we were banged up. The absolute, our lowest point of the season right there. And then on top of that, we did not play our best game that night. Things just didn't fall into place for us. And they played, credit to them, they were, as far as I could tell, pretty healthy and played hard and played with a lot of emotion and came to our field and, you know, knocked us off. And I think if we had gotten a week later or 2 weeks later, when we had gotten the kids that weren't done for the year back healthy again, like Chris and Tristan, and it would have been a different story. But it was what it was on that night, and not much we can do about it. And they knocked us out this year.
Quick, yeah.
Yeah, and one other thing, you know, if you look at that week 1 game, I said coming into week 1, I don't know if I said it to the kids, but I definitely said to the coaches. I said to the coaches, I said, I think this West Boylston team is going to be the best team we play all year in the regular season. Even though they're a D school, it was a crossover game for us. I thought they were going to be the team to beat in the D for certain, and potentially the best team we play on our schedule. That was accurate. They were the best team in my eyes that we played on our schedule. After they lost to us 22-6 or 22-8, whatever it was. They ran the table. They didn't even have a close game the rest of the way. And if you look at that week 1 game, even with our whole team, Sawyer ran back a kickoff for a touchdown, and Hunter had a big play right in the end of the game where he had a catch and a big run after catch to seal the game. But that was a tight game with our whole team. And so when we got to that playoff game, we didn't have all those kids in those positions. And so I don't think that either of those games were as far off. I think that team was very, very good. Great player in the McCoubry kid. Defensively as a team, they were, I think, the best team we played on defense. We had a hard time moving the ball against them both times. So credit to them, and you know, so we moved on.
Players, could you also follow up on Coach Lynn's comments about the West Boylston game in the playoffs and the injuries and how bad that impacted your team's ability to beat West Boylston?
Yeah, it was tough to go out like that. We thought we were probably one of the best teams in the state, and being injured like that, having to lose to a team that we definitely thought we were better than coming into the game, if we were at 100%, was tough for us because we didn't get a chance to really show what we could do, go into the playoffs, make a run like we have the past couple of years. But it was still a good season. We're still happy with what we accomplished in our 4 years, but we definitely think if we had a healthier team and a little bit better timing coming into the playoffs, we would have made some noise.
Yeah, there's not much else to say. Yeah. Injuries killed us. We didn't have our best game, like Coach said, and they definitely were the toughest team we faced all season.
Yeah, those injuries really killed us, and we definitely could have made some plays that we didn't during the game, but yeah, that's about it.
All right, Coach, so this is the first time in the new playoff format that you've not gone to Gillette Stadium, and you played a consolation game, and there were no worries resting seniors and starters on Thanksgiving. What was that like for the coaches and players?
So one thing through the past 2 years that I heard from other programs and other ADs and coaches is when teams got knocked out or they didn't make it, those programs, they had a hard time staying motivated and coming out to practice and playing games. And we weren't living that. We were living the straight home playoff games to Gillette, basically, for those first 2 years. And I thought to myself, if we're in that situation, I'm not gonna let our team go that way. So, as soon as the West Boylston, you look up at the scoreboard and the score was what it was. I told the kids on the field, I don't think anybody on our team could have played harder that night. We didn't make the plays. There was a couple plays, if we'd made this, if we'd done that, but you can always look at a close game like that, and it could come down to 3, 4, 5 plays in any game. So as soon as I just went out the field, I said, guys, we're going to, get better over the weekend as much as we can, come back to work. And I said, we're not going to do what I've heard other programs and kids not showing up for practice or not practicing hard, because every football game is special and you only get so many in your life. A lot of these 3 guys might end up playing beyond high school. We have college coaches coming to talk to them every day just about now. But for most guys, they don't. And so football games are special. And I just told the kids, consolation games, playoff games, whatever, we're going to prepare, we're going to go out, we're going to win, and we're going to finish 10-1 as league champs. And there's nothing to be ashamed about. Our luck ran out this year. The year we won the state championship, there was no luckier team in the state. We were healthy for an entire year. We couldn't lose a single kid that year because we were not a deep team. And last year, we were healthy for the better part of the year, too. This year, it ran out on us. Our luck ran out, and we had some injuries, and that's just football. So, but we came out, and we practiced hard, and we went up to Blackstone Valley, had a good game there. Then the next 2 weeks, we were getting ready for Thanksgiving. Practice was a lot lighter, but everybody was there. Everybody was showing up for practice, working. Unfortunately, we were totally healthy by the end of the season. We were completely healthy, and we would have loved to have a shot to be at Gillette with the team that we were out there on Thanksgiving with, but not going to have that shot this year.
Players, was it hard to stay motivated after the West Boylston game, or was it, like Coach Lynn said, just coming back, getting better, back to work, and just beating Blackstone Valley and then on to air for Thanksgiving?
I mean, it was a lot different. We had never experienced that before. The past 2 years, we've been full throttle, getting ready with our mindset on winning the state championship. And this year was just completely different. Our first day back at practice, we just went out, and after grieving for the weekend, we came out and we just had a blast at practice. We had no pressure on us, so we just had lots of fun. We fooled around a fair amount, but we made sure we got done what we needed to get done. We still didn't brush off Thanksgiving as if it was nothing, but as much as it sucks, it was a good time.
Yeah, we got used to being under a lot of pressure the past couple seasons. Felt like everyone was watching us, waiting for us. We had a lot of stuff to live up to, but this year after the loss, it was no pressure, do whatever we wanted. Got back to playing football for the sake of having fun, and we showed that at practice. We have a group of guys that just likes to mess around, have a good time, and we still got everything done that we needed to get done, game plans, all that stuff, but I don't think anyone had more fun than we did those couple weeks.
Yeah, it was definitely tough coming off that loss, knowing that we could have gone this far now that St. B's lost. But yeah, it was fun the past 2 weeks playing those games and stuff. And yeah, that's about it.
All right, Coach. So a few weeks ago, you had the awards banquet. Can you just give a recap on who got awards? I'm not sure if you remember all of it, but
I should remember most. We had our MVP was Connor. These two guys here were our co-outstanding offensive players. And we vote on them, and then the coaches vote as well. But, these guys here have been, like I said, we did not have a consistent running game this year. So right here, these three, I kind of think of it as like a triangle because Connor's, at quarterback, and when we're in our 2x2 set, we've got Connor and we've got Joey and Chris on either side. We get into a lot of different sets too, and I use Joey in different ways at the end of the year. We use Chris in different ways all year too. But, as far as our offensive production, the majority of it came right here. And our outstanding defensive player was Stevie. That was kind of a no-brainer. That kid's had an unbelievable career and just plays so hard every game, every down. Some other ones, help me out here. Who was?
Font was unsung hero.
Nick Font, unsung hero. Nick Font, without the injury, would have probably would have been hard to not go co-outstanding defensive players. I mean, I don't know how you could differentiate the two. They were unbelievable. And Hunter Miller, again, that all made sense. Hunter had a breakout year at receiver and also on D-line. And
Robert Archer got the Coaches Award.
Robert Archer got Coaches Award. Pappy got academic achievement. He does very well in school on top of being a great player. And I feel like we're missing one.
Ben Church.
Ben Church got the Tiger Award, which is almost kind of like an unsung / Coaches Award. Church, put together 2 great years of, again, this senior class kind of, I said this at the award ceremony, that this wasn't a senior class that you could track like since 4th grade or something. This was a senior class that came together somewhat late in the game. Churchy came out as a junior, had a great junior year, even better senior year. And, yeah, so I think that was about our awards. And
Mike Ray, Lineman of the Year.
There we go. Mikey Ray, Lineman of the Year, and that was a no-brainer as well. Mikey Ray was our center. Funny story on Mike, came into the program. He was a quarterback as an 8th grader and as a 9th grader, I want to say. Kind of became a bigger guy, In that state championship year, we needed some guys to go to offensive line, and Clarkey and Mikey Ray both did that. And Mikey played tackle for their sophomore and junior year. And then this year we needed him to move to center, which he did, and he was outstanding. Great lineman.
Okay, so Coach, I'm going to go back to you. You had a pretty good junior class this year,
Yep.
and they helped out offensively and defensively. If you could get a scope for next season and what's going to be coming as their seniors, and also a little bit about the freshmen, and I believe is there a big upcoming class of freshmen that are 8th graders now?
I think the numbers are going to be, our numbers this year, we had 55 players? 54, 55 players in that neighborhood. And that's basically, I've been the head coach now for 14 years, that's our highest number of participants. And I honestly think we could surpass that next year. There was a large class of 8th graders playing youth. We graduate 9. I think we will definitely exceed 9 coming in. And if everybody else comes back, we could be in the 60 range next year. Our junior class, I think, is we're going to be a little different. For 5 years, we've had a run-pass quarterback. And Connor, pass-run quarterback, I guess even more so because he passed for more yards than he ran for. And we had a lot of talented receivers. I think next year, as far as what I'm looking at right now, I think we'll be less drop-back passing, less pocket passing, and more on the run. I just think that we're going to be more of a run play-action team. I think we're going to be strong across the offensive line. I think we're going to have a good amount of running backs. I think that we have another Connor or Alex. I don't see that right now, but I see some kids that I think we can plug into the quarterback position and probably get back to more of a ground game, which is definitely you got to work a little harder and earn it a little more, but because it's been pretty easy, I think over the years, I go back to like that Maynard overtime game last year. Joey caught the pass in the corner of the end zone to win it in overtime, but Chris had caught, I want to say, 2 steamers on the way to get us there, at least 1, if not 2. And, you know, that's big chunk yards. That's like 60 yards in a 10-second play. And teams that don't have that, you've got to like try and find a way to run the ball and get it down there. And so we might not have that quick strike ability, but you know, so there's some things I got to work on. It's definitely going to be we're going to have to work hard and get after it, but we have a lot coming back. Yeah.
So guys, last question for you. Going back to the juniors, how much faith do you have in the juniors? I'm sure you guys have a lot of faith because you guys play with them, and hopefully we'll see you back at the football games next year, depending on where you go to college.
Yeah, I think we'll be around. We're pretty optimistic they'll have a good year next year. They've got a lot of guys that are leaders, a lot of people that need to step up, and I'm sure will. So I think they'll have a good year.
Yeah, I have a lot of faith in them. Coach has a great program at the high school where he has all the football players in the weight room every day, getting bigger, stronger, faster, and better. And it's helped the whole team dramatically. And I know, and I'm sure Chris does from talking to college coaches, every time they ask what high school we go to, once we say Littleton High School, they go, "Oh, Mike Lynn, he runs a great program there." And they always have faith in kids coming out of Littleton. So.
Yeah, it'll definitely be a good year for them next year. All of them coming back. Griff, Hunter, he should have a good year. Anthony will be able to step up, and yeah, I'll definitely be back for some of those games.
Well, thank you all for your time. It's been an amazing season. You guys got the league championship 4 years in a row, back-to-back trips to Gillette Stadium a couple of years ago, and #1 seed in the playoffs for how many years in a row?
Yeah, the 3 years that this has been, yep, #1. So it's been a great ride.
Well, thank you all for an exciting season, and we'll look forward to a preview for next season. That'll be later on, but for now, this is the wrap-up of the 2015 season. I'm Ryan Vallon with Coach Mike Lynn and a few of the captains, Chris Renacio, Joey DeCoste, and Connor Bassett. That's all from here.